through the first part, the review for the Constitution test that we're going to have. And so we're going to go over 1 through 9 here today. The other remaining topics we're going to save for tomorrow. So the first topic here is the Articles of Confederation, and had been first ratified or had been drawn up in 1777 during the summer when Washington was up in New York and Cornwallis had attacked and come in with a huge fleet to kind of show off, try to show the Americans that they needed to give up. But so 1777, they draw up the Articles of Confederation, and it didn't really, it was a very simple document, 13 articles, and kind of just be the United States and no the federal government, or there was no federal government, and the kind of the articles, the Continental Congress that it created had its job to run the war, but as soon as the war was over, and it really had to get down to business of kind of negotiating amongst the states, it didn't have any real power, and that really became evident by 1786. A former soldier, Daniel Shea, had and a group of farmers in Massachusetts were objecting to their farms being taken. A lot of them owed money for taxes and owed money to merchants in Boston, and the Articles of Confederation didn't give really any power to the states to be able to put down the rebellion, and the government that was created by the Articles didn't have any power to kind of stop the rebellion. And it really let people like Alexander Hamilton and George Washington and James Madison know that there needed to be something done more significant to stop or to kind of give the government some more teeth to be able to raise an army, to raise taxes, to do more with the country than what had been presently been done. So Shays' Rebellion is just a kind of showed how weak the Articles of Confederation was, and the founding fathers agreed to meet in Philadelphia began in May of 1787 at the Constitutional Convention, Independence Hall in Philadelphia. They spent the summer through till September 17th, 1787, writing the Constitution, and they drew up a document. Had 7 articles. The first 3 dealt with the development, creating government. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute here. Independence Hall was just the location in Philadelphia where the Constitutional Convention occurred. There were a couple large scale disagreements or dilemmas or problems that they had to overcome. One was that the big states like Virginia and Pennsylvania and New York, so that was the Virginia plan, was to have Congress be representatives based on the number of people in the state. Small states like New Jersey, they wanted it to be how it was. Under the Articles, there was 1 vote, 1 state, and they liked that. And so they had to come up with a compromise. So the Great Compromise between the two plans was that you had a bicameral government, bicameral legislature, where you had 2 votes per state, which would represent the New Jersey plan, and you had the House of Representatives based on population, which was the Virginia plan. The southern states wanted their slaves to be counted towards their population. So, and obviously the northern states vehemently disagreed with that. And they came, again, there was a compromise where 3/5, so if you had 50,000 slaves, you would get, that would count towards one representative, or 30,000 30,000 people, which back at the time, 30,000 people meant counted for one representative. So that was called the 3/5 compromise. Another simpler way of saying it would be 5 slaves would be counted towards 3 people in the legislature. Madison, father of the Constitution, he promoted 3 branches of government. This was to distribute power, so there would be checks and balances between the legislative, judicial, and the executive branches. All 3 branches, the executive can veto Congress's any type of legislation they put across. The Congress can come back with a 2/3 majority and override the president's veto. And if the laws are unconstitutional, the Supreme Court can determine they're unconstitutional and change the laws that way. So there's all different ways that power can be kept in check in the different between the 3 different branches of government. So no one part of the government would become too powerful. Article. That's actually as far as we're going to go today. The second part here, we'll go over the articles, the different articles in the Constitution, and we will be talking about that next time.